Day. Hey, welcome back. This is James T. We are back on the scene with another episode of the Bounce Back. Remember, we started this process maybe almost 2 months ago, and the process was finding ways to talk about different forms of recovery while we were going through COVID and after COVID. We want to keep reshaping the program, reshaping the thought process, bringing on people with fresh ideas and thought processes about what it looks like to go through COVID, to be past COVID, to get re engaged in the community, find different ways to work with one another, find new ideas, especially before we get started today. I want to go and let you guys know, hey, look at this right here, welcome desk. We have a welcome desk. There's a wonderful young lady by the name of Kim waiting to answer questions and receive you when you call that number 704-390-7709. We also have a warm line. Now listen, the warm line is especially was created just when COVID hit. Warm lines all across America, in some parts of different countries. And what the warm line does is think about hotline, warm line. This is a space that was created for people who are in need, people who are in need to communicate with people. At that time, we lost a basic form of communicating with people, which was physical touch, physical seeing that person and being in the presence of them in mind. So, what we got to do is with the warm line, we're able to be a service to people who just needed someone to talk to. So, hey, listen, if you're out there in chat world, I want you to feel free to, if you're watching this, uh, stick something in there. And just basically, we are also looking for ideas. Right here at Promise Resource Network, we're looking for ideas on shows, ideas on things that you want us to talk about, and speak to. Earlier today, I had the blessing to be on a show earlier, Recovery 102, and it was a blessing because we went deep into layers of thought processes, deep into layers of healing, deep into those layers really help us out. Instead of being on the surface, we wanted to go deeper to find ways to get to those things that keep us broken or some of those things that kept us in mental bondage. And that was a topic. Went deep into mental bondage, and I hands off to that. Listen, we need to do that more often. So I want to start with reading a poem that was I was blessed with. I cannot right now at this time remember the author, but listen, it sounds like this. This is about the 1 minute that you have in this lifetime. How that minute really is eternal. Here it goes. I only have just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Yeah, I'm going to leave that right there. I mean, just a tiny little minute. That's all we have, a tiny little minute. But the whole entire eternity is in it. 60 seconds. Only have 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it. But it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Wow. Listen, I appreciate all of you who come on here and listen to us talk uh, about forms of recovery. We love doing this. So today, I got a guest on the way, and she is packed with some fun, some good energy. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, but before she gets here, we're going to just sit here and chat about other ways to form opinions, other ways to think about things that shape and form our ideas about what's going on now in the world. What are we going to do? What are we doing for our own form of recovery? What are we doing what are we thinking about? How often are we thinking about what we're thinking about? How often are we For those of you who are familiar with me, you know I've thrived on the process of thinking and vibrations. Some call them energy. A gentleman a day earlier said that before he leaves his house, he sets his intentions and his vibrations. I was able to understand that so quickly because I am a son of it. I get to see it happen to all the time. I get to see things manifest for me all the time by the way I think, by the way I choose to think. And the definition of choice, the voluntary act of selecting that which is preferred. The voluntary act of selecting that which is preferred. That's what we call a choice. So every day, I start out my day with a form of meditation. We went over that last week. I start out my day with a form of getting myself set in a vibration. I make sure if I'm going to call someone, I make sure if I'm going to talk to someone, I'm constantly in a format of calling someone with the intention that it's going to be a manifestation, a good thing, a vibration, send out good vibes. Hey, I'm going to text you and say, I hope you have a good day. What am I doing when I do these things? What am I doing when I listen to the right music? What am I doing when I'm setting this intention? I am literally finding ways to set up my emotional intelligence and my profile as such that the vibrational tone that I carry always blesses me. What do you do? What do you do? What's happening out there? What are you doing to be proactive to set an intention for your day? What are you doing to hold that intention? But first, let's talk more about setting it. Some people listen to music. Some people meditate. Some people speak. Some people have jobs where they have to speak. Some people have jobs where they have to interact with people. We're beyond COVID now, guys. So what we need to do is find a way back to each other. How can I encourage someone? We got a list of the things we have to do with our job. We have a list of the things that we must do today with the children. Do you have a list of intention setting on sending out the right positive tones, sending out the right positive vibrations, we call it? So, as the onlookers and the people that we talked to today in our audience, earlier in the show that we were on, it really blessed us. We were able to get some positive vibrations from it. We were able to get some positive understandings, and people thought about different things that they do. So I want to just piggyback on some of those things because I don't think a lot of us are doing those things. I got a list, I got a piece of paper, I got a planner, I got a calendar. But what do I have to set myself up for success during the day in the morning? So we need to be focused sometimes on some of these things that we can do to put us in the right position, right? What's my position? So let's set ourselves up for a positive position. So going forward, think about some of these things. Before you leave that house, before you get to that meeting, whoever you speak to first, I'm setting myself up in the right position to be successful with the vibration. Now we got to hold the vibration. Guess what? This is on you. Who is responsible for you? Who has been responsible for me? It is your sole intention in this universe to make yourself happy. It was in my recovery, I had to find out I could not depend on anyone outside of me as a sense of identity. I could not look to anything outside of me as a sense of happiness. That means no thing or nothing, no thing. And it also means no person. And you know what? That can be really tough looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing that you had become a dependent, that someone else was doing something for you. I think in relationships we find a way to try to almost make someone responsible for us, make someone responsible for our happiness. And then we have to title it. And then when they can't juggle anymore, we lose faith in them or lose access to that energy. it could never work for long periods of time. So when I bounce back, when I think of bouncing back, when I think of the best way to bounce back after this COVID, uh, during the COVID, I always start with self, because there is a power in you that is amazing. There's a power in you that has the ability to change anything you want by not looking at anything on the outside, but starting first in the inside. And it is hurtful. It is, it will change things in you once you start doing it. I mentioned earlier that one of my favorite, she doesn't call herself a therapist, but her name is Ayana Van Zandt, author. Um, I've watched many of her episodes. I've read so many books. And one of the things that she always says when she is in the midst of developing people and helping people have breakthroughs, one of the things she's always said is, "Beloved, in a calm, motherly voice, I need you to stand up, go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and smack the first person shows up." It's hilarious. Yes, it is. You can write laughing out loud on the chat line. However, it's meaningful, it's real, it's powerful when we challenge ourselves to do better. We challenge ourselves to find ways in our recovery to access the power that we really have and we didn't know it. We find ways to access the power that, you know, and operate the keys that we didn't use. We allowed someone else on the outside, on the other side, to build us up. Think about it. Think about people building other people up. And as powerful as it is, it cannot be as powerful as you building yourself. Self confidence, self worthiness, self alliance, self reliance, without getting lost though in the self. So remember, guys, look, I had the welcome desk up. My DS is on our way. Warm line, 24/7, conversations, communications, talking to people about whatever it is. Some of us just need someone to talk to, guys. And that's our intentions. That's what we set as intentions when we set up the warm line. And it's been a blessing. I've worked on a long warm line for a long time, excuse me. And I want to tell you that it is very powerful to have someone that you want to is filling the space, and us being allowed to hold space for one another during times of need, during times of loneliness, during times that we were made to be isolated. Yes, isolated. Very important times. So, going forward, I want you all to realize that you got a place to call. Promise Resource Network is right here for you. You got a place, someone that you can call right here and talk to. And we will find some type of resources for you. We will find someone. That's the goal, that's the mission, and we're on it. As one of my mentors says, we are building a plane while we're actually flying it. So, hey, I am so thankful my guest has arrived. Her name is Star. I don't have a drum roll, but I am so thankful that you are here. We are live on the air. Have a seat. And everybody, this is my friend Star. Say hi, Star.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, listen, I was just, going over some different things about what we have, what we offer as
Mhm,
Promise Resource Network. We
mhm,
offer a welcome desk for people to call
mhm,
in, and we provide resources and everything that we can to help people out. And I was also letting people know the warm line, they
mhm,
can always call. Here's the number, 833-390-7728.
mhm.
So again, that warm line, available 24 hours a day. When you want to just talk to someone, we make ourselves available. So now tell us about Star and tell us Star's mission.
Man, that's a whole lot. I don't know if you have that much time, but we'll shorten it down. So,
Okay.
I'm a certified life coach, peer specialist for domestic violence. And also, I classify myself a life survivor. So, I've given myself that middle name, taken out the birth middle name, and I am Star Life Survivor Cromwell. Um,
Wow.
I'm a people's professional, and the broken, the better.
Tell me about that. Elaborate on that a little bit.
To
The
me,
broken, the better.
yeah, because to me, I see beauty in brokenness.
Mm.
And if you think about it, and when you look at a mosaic piece, what is a mosaic piece? It's these tiny little fragments that's been broken purposefully to make beautiful art.
Yes,
And
that is exactly what it is. I didn't even think of that.
and that's how I saw my life when I was going through it. When I was in it, in a situation like I was addicted to cocaine, had a mom that was in full blown addiction, didn't know what that really looked like, hiding my cocaine usage, like because that was the thing, right? You let me go use the bathroom, or my allergies is happening, and it was a thing of hiding what was happening with me, so I couldn't get help.
So the masking,
Yeah.
the double masking,
Oh yeah.
we got them layered sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. The layering for me was super easy because I'm Caribbean. So when I came to the States, I had allergy issues. So I'm just gonna say my sinuses is acting up.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. Let's go back just a little bit about your history, where you're from,
Hmm.
and when you came to the States, and then maybe when you started experiencing some issues.
Hmm. Well, when I'm from St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, so the mountainy, beautiful parts of Jamaica where tourists don't come. But it's beautiful, regal,
That's the
serene.
country, right?
Yes.
That's a beautiful place. Been there.
And so I came from Jamaica to New York, from New York to North Carolina. Um, but when we came to North Carolina, so much was going on. My mother got on crack cocaine. She became super abusive. I didn't know how to handle that because it was like looking at a different mom. And then she started experimenting with cocaine, and I got my hands on her cocaine.
You remember that experience
Oh,
when you
I
first
do.
got your hand on your
Oh
mom's
yeah, man. Oh
substances?
yes. When I first was introduced to it, and I did my first couple of lines because I'm a high energetic person anyway. So you had that with me already being up here, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute,
Was
this is
she in a
good.
space where she found out that you were doing that?
Years later, years later, I would come down so hard, I would crack the hammer down on her so hard because I'm like, now I was turning into her.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
the very thing I said I would never be, I was turning into her. And so I started judging her. So I was using, abusing, and then manipulating. Yeah.
But you were also surviving somehow.
Oh, yeah. I was determined every day that this wasn't going to be my life. So there's the difference. And that was, I suffer with OCD.
Okay.
And so that's also my supergirl power because the OCD element says, I got to get back control. I got to get that power back. I can't let you beat me. I have to gain control over this drug. And I did for a
Mhm.
while. So then I began to use only in a party element. I got this under control. We're out here. That's what everybody's doing. You know, this is a space where now I was also a talent developer. So everyone in the industry was using. So it was okay. It was okay. It was nothing for me to walk into a party and lines would already be out. You know,
Wow.
get you some.
Wow.
It's okay. Get you some. It's okay for you to stay up for 2 and 3 days because it's real raw and you're looking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. That your brain is moving at a million miles per hour. It's okay. Heartbeat is jumping out your chest, and that's what I would tell myself for a long time. And then one day, this is no joke. I say one day, but I was up for 4 days. 4 days, couldn't come down, couldn't get my mind together. I wrote 2 books though.
You wrote 2 books?
I wrote 2 books on that the 4 days binge. I was up. I wrote 2 books, and when I went back to try to identify with the books, I don't know who wrote those books.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, tell me some more. Tell me how you got to where you are.
I came out of the 4 days, and my ex, he was my first abuser. He knew I was using, and he would use that as a way to continuously come back, come right back into what I was doing.
Okay.
His way to say, "I got you." And so he came over and he had some with him, and I said, "You know what? I don't want this today." And he kept trying to push it on me. I like you better when you're high. I don't like this version of you. This version, you sober. You're too aware. Take this here. Just go ahead and do it. And I remember saying to myself, there has to be something about me that he wants to water down.
Mm.
What is it in me that would make you so inferior that you would want to water me down? And at that time, I remember saying to myself,
But
like,
you, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
you recognize
Yeah.
that this person, you recognize that it was a form of insecurity.
Oh, yeah,
That this person did not want you to be what you can be and what you are.
definitely. Definitely. And I recognize it like that. I'm talking about it was something in me. Like some people would say it was just like a switch that just clicked for me. It did right on the spot for me. And I said, I don't want this anymore. Like I don't want it anymore. And it literally happened for me. And I know that recovery can happen like that for some people, and others it's a long battle. Like my mom today, she's still fighting for her recovery.
Wow.
And for myself, it was like this. I know that I'm called to a higher calling.
Yes.
I know that I'm meant to do something for the masses, not just for myself, but for the masses of people who are connected to my story, to my survival. And that's what it was for me.
You know, we're getting comments here. People saying, "Hey, she's speaking my language.
Oh,
She's speaking my truth. Uh, Cocaine was my drug of choice." I
mhm.
mean, you know, let's talk a little bit about what it actually took for you to see light to go towards another direction. I mean, I'm talking about when we all in recovery got up and fell down, but what was the ingredients it really took for you to change your life?
I thought I found love, and he began to manipulate me through the drug again after I said, I'm done, right? How many times in recovery said, I'm done? The start over, the do over, right? I thought I had met the one.
Mm.
And he moved me out my condo, moved me into this big 3-story home. Beautiful. I'm talking about the man was amazing. 6'4", light skin, good hair. He even had 2 dogs and a white fence. I'm telling you, this man was storybook. So I thought.
Well, it looked like that sounds like a story.
It
I like him. I might fall in love with him.
Don't do it. I remember coming into his home. The home was regal. It looked like something out of Better Homes magazine. The man could cook in the kitchen and cook in the bed. I remember him telling me, he said, I need you to move in here. And at that time, I had my 2 daughters. I want you to move out of your place, bring your children. I need you here. And it was quick. Life with him happened like this. And at that time, I had left my other ex. And so I went through that period while you're in recovery of loneliness. Oh my, that was the most loneliest time because it's like a new you. You're reinventing and you're reintroducing you to you, right? I remember just kind of sitting there and all of a sudden, here's this man drops. I thought it was heaven. It sounded good. It looked good. He felt good. 2 weeks after being in the house with him, I didn't know that brother had already read my story.
Mm.
Now, I will say be careful of how much you share because some people will take your past and use it against you, right? He began to do that. And excuse me, it's so hot out here. um I went upstairs to his room. There was a box, a beautiful red box. There was a box of brand new Jaguar. That was mine, right? Then there was a box, jewelry box, engagement ring, and you lift up the ring and it was cocaine on the bottom of it. Now, this is a man who read my story, who knows that cocaine controlled me. I
Mm.
felt like I was the Sheba when I was on it. So I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the ring, I'm looking at the key. Now, all this was like story. This was a movie.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I didn't know that again. This man was he had struggled with PTSD, personality dysfunction, and a few other things. He began to say, "It's okay if we use together." And I'm
Wow.
looking at him like, "But wait a minute. The house, the man, my children are happy. I got a new Jaguar. You just bought me this new ring, and you got two dogs. I'm living a dream. I don't need the coke anymore. I got what I need." And no, no. That night, he put the lines out and he said, "Let's just do a little bit." And a little bit led to,
You felt safe with him doing it because now you have him.
yeah, this is the man. Remember, this is my dream now. So I get right back into it. And this time I'm a what I called a dysfunctional, beautiful cokehead at this time because this man would do my makeup while I'm doing my lines. This this was a version
Wow.
of, listen, when I tell you, this is no joke, Jay. Listen to me. I laugh now because
He would do your makeup
he would
while
do
you
my
were doing your
makeup while
lines.
I'm doing my tray, him over here in the face, and and he's, baby, I'm gonna put a little more. Now I didn't know that this man was in his other lifestyle. Pay
Okay.
attention to what I'm
Okay. I
saying,
hear you. I
okay?
hear you.
He was lullabying me through the drugs, doing my makeup, little and all along had a whole closet lifestyle, but pulled in through my past, right? Pulled me in through my past. But the whole time he's watching little boy porn. Little it was correction, little Asian boys that look like girls.
Wow.
Pornography. So from me coming into his house with my two daughters, it was us just being the book cover because the inside of the book was a mess.
Okay.
But here's the thing about knowing your purpose in life, knowing why you were created and why you were put here on this earth. I remember when I was fighting to come out of my addiction and I was in that 4-day binge, the universe spoke to me and said, "You're going to tell a great story of survival. You need to get up."
Yes.
And see, I never shared
So you
that.
you felt
I
that.
felt that. I felt that thing. I never shared that with anyone, but when I told my story, I said something spoke to me, right? It said, "Get up." I remember that voice when I was watching this man and I'm looking at this pornography on his phone, blown away, disgusted with myself, embarrassed, because here I go again,
Mm.
right back down this white rabbit hole after I told myself I wasn't doing it again. And damn, how do I tell my children, right? Because now the children are involved. I've moved them out of their safe space into this man's house, thinking that this was it for us. And the only thing you used me for is a cover up. And you wanted to bring back my addiction
Wow.
because you felt if you had me high that I could still maintain that cover with you. No, that was a lie. That was a lie. And when I began to fight for my life, that's when he decided that he was going to whip me up, like whip me up nicely. Because I said, I'm done with this and I'm not going back to this lifestyle because my life is called to a higher calling.
Yeah. Wow. That is amazing. And this was over the course of how many years?
With him, 60 days.
Oh, 60
Oh,
days with
60
him.
days with him. Because here's the thing, and I always say this as a certified coach, I tell people first, there's this thing that taps you on the shoulder that says, "Hey, Jay, you know this isn't you, right? You know that you're called to a
Yes.
higher living."
I have heard that. I have felt that feeling. Absolutely.
So when that happens, you may not do something right away, but the seed is planted. Once the seed is planted, it's just like everything else that's planted. You need water, you need sunshine, and you definitely need the rain. We need the rain. People are always trying to run from the rain. People are always trying to take shelter from the storm, but we need it.
And what are those things? Name some of those things that the water and the rain, the sun, we need that. What kind of things could that represent that we will run from in the physical?
In the physical, we
Well,
run.
I've
We
got that seed planted.
uh-huh.
I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing because that's the natural order of me. I don't have a clue on how to manifest or where I even start to try to help change my life, to help change someone else's life. What kind of things represent this water and rain that we need to survive?
I always like to reference myself, right? Because I'm the expert on me.
Okay.
For myself, I used to run from the problem in the relationship. Oh, you don't know how to communicate effectively, or if I seen a remnant of my mother, I'm going to run away from you. I'm going to dodge. But here's the thing: a person who doesn't know how to communicate effectively in your relationship can teach you how to communicate, can teach you about how to listen effectively, can teach you about patience. When we're in a storm and we're confused and we're asking for relief, because most people don't do, like, I'm a little put backwards. I always ask for power to sustain and understand in the problem. I never ask to take me or shield me from an issue. I I never prayed that prayer in my life, and I have battled some demons. I always said, "Help me understand, give me the reason and the resources to understand so that I never see this day again. That I want to graduate out of this particular class because I don't like what's before me. But if you can give me the tools to grow forward, to come out of this, so that when I tell my story, someone gets it immediately."
Yes.
I was determined not to be a repeat offender.
Awesome. I mean, this is power from within. This is what we talked about earlier. This is what I started with before you arrived. And we talk about, this being a show called The Bounce Back.
Okay.
And The Bounce Back, we talk about how to bounce back in recovery from different ways. We went through COVID. We still got issues with that. What are, when we talk about bouncing back from addictions, what help you on a daily basis to make sure you don't see those days again, like you just said? You said, hey, I ask the universe for this power to never see that day again. And for those who are listening, who need to always be ready to bounce back, always have the power within themselves to bounce back, always have the voice to ask the universe or the God or whatever we call it. Can you give me some ideas on some things to keep you focused?
I'm going to tell you first is affirmations for me.
I've
coined this phrase, and I don't care if you guys use it, just reference me. You are the best investment for your life. You cannot invest in the lives of others until you are 110% invested in you. And people always say,
you said 110%.
That's right. And people say, why do you say 110? And I say, because we're always going to be in recovery, right? So the extra 10% is for the days where my head is heavy, where I might smell cocaine in the wind, because I know ex-cocaine users, don't we still smell that? Especially for women who go get our nails done, we smell it in a salon, because what is it, that the acetone is also one of the derivatives that some people would use to help cut coke.
I did not know that, but okay.
So great. Going into a salon, I would be like, what's going on? What's going on? My mind is remembering this, right? So I would tell myself the extra 10% is for the days where my head is heavy and I need to force myself about the bed.
Wow.
I got a G.I. Jane me. Get up. Leave not yourself behind. Leave no man behind. I'm not leaving myself behind. Self-preservation is a gift we got to open every day.
Do you think people feel guilty about trying to preserve themselves or trying to, do you think people worry or get stressed about being called selfish when there's a time that you should be selfish?
Yes. You always need to be the first partaker of your love. You need to eat first and then feed those that are hungry. You think about it, Jay. If you feed me first every day, 12 people came in here every day and you made a meal for 13, and 12 people come up every day, somebody else is always going to end up at the table. But if you partake of that meal first, say me, I'm a sampler while I cook. I might get full off of pieces, right? Now I've got my belly full. Belly, we're going to use as an analogy for mine.
Energy.
And the energy is good. And now I can serve you the way I was created to serve you. But if we keep depleting self over and over, what happens? We get agitated. We start complaining. We can't match our goals. We're not sleeping at night.
So this is why I was saying, guys, earlier that when we work within ourselves, what do you do when you first get up? What
Ooh.
your dedication to yourself, to the music you listen to the prayers you pray,
Yeah.
to the energy that you summon or create or vibration you choose to hold has to be, and it should be, and it's possible. It should be for yourself first to get that energy, maintain it, and maintain the focus. And even sometimes the first person you call or text, let the light of that energy manifest. It's like it's like a bunch of pieces of ingredients. That was earlier. A
Mm.
bunch of pieces of ingredients that you set for the table. That's
Hmm.
how I look at it.
Hmm.
What else? Give me another thing that you can do on a daily basis in this time we live in after COVID, people going back to work. What's some other things we can do? Because you and I both are on the same level with talking about having the power from within and working on the self. Is
Hmm.
there anything else people can do, um, when they want to go to another level of caring for themselves? You're certified what?
Life coach.
Tell me what else you do. What do you do when you do work with people? Tell
When
me
I
about
work
that.
with people like yours, I like to come outdoors. It's something about the power of being outside of an office space, a doctor's office, a school, a house. It's something about getting out into nature for me. And I'm a water baby.
Okay.
Anytime I'm by the water, I am free. My elements, everything about me changes by the water. I think people need to spend time by themselves to figure out what is that it for them.
Some people are terrified to do that.
Oh, a
I
lot of
remember
people
I
are.
was at first.
A lot of people are. Listen, my ex couldn't be alone for four. I'm not joking. For 4 or 5 minutes. Where are you at? What are you doing? And I'm like, I love my own company.
Yes.
I and I'm the baby of 13. So I love being alone. I used to run like I can't get one quiet place in this house. Now as an adult, I value that time.
Yes. I agree.
I value it. So you need to be able to identify what works for you, right? I fell in love with myself about 3 years ago. 3 years
Why
ago,
does that take us so long?
you
Can you?
because
I mean, I think I look pretty good for 51, but
and
why
do
does it take us so long to fall in love? And I spoke about it, guys, earlier. Remember, I talked about you know getting and receiving things from the outside, or identifying with form identification of things and people from the outside. So why does it take us so long to fall in love with the self?
because society have groomed us to believe that we need to be there for everyone before we are involved with ourselves.
Are you saying that society has got us to think that we have to go take the rope and the chain and the flotation device to someone else before we can swim on our own?
Society has groomed us. Every love song, every love story, every romance novel. It's not the self preservation. It's not the love is a gift to yourself first and then give of to others. It's not that. It's the you got to be there for Tom, Jane, Larry, and them nappy head children of yours
Mhm.
before you partake in yourself. And that's not true.
Could this be why in relationships, married couples, and things of that nature, whatever, a lot of the women feel depleted because they have given so much on the out, and then you get lost in these relationships are lost, and actually you don't really get lost. You lose you.
All the time.
So bouncing back, it's a daily thing, guys. It's something
Yes.
that we got to work with every day. It's not like
Yeah.
when I started doing the bounce back, guys. It seemed at first like it was some medicine for after COVID, but really, it's a medicine that we need to operate within ourselves daily. Now, as being a certified life coach, what kind of things you encounter when you talk with people?
When I talk to people, the biggest thing is confusion.
Mm.
That's the I don't know what to do, where to go, how to get started. That how to get started? Oh my God.
What kind of questions? I mean, what do they say, and how do you help someone along get started?
When someone says, they say, Coach, I don't know how to begin. The simplest thing that I tell them is you just got to start. I don't care what number you start at, just get up and start. It's literally that simple. Have you ever watched a train take off? Have you ever watched a train? If not, that's going to be your homework
Okay.
next time I talk to you.
Watch a train take off.
When a train gets ready to take off, it's so slow.
Yes, yes, okay.
You're like, oh my gosh, right? And I noticed this probably 2 years ago when I was taking a train ride to Savannah, which is one of my little guilty pleasures I do by myself,
Okay.
right? I'm sitting on the train and I was so anxious. I'm like, what is taking so
Get
long?
going.
Like, come on. I'm out the window trying to look at the wheel, like it's something happening. And the next thing you know, it built the momentum
Yes.
and it kept going and going. And finally it hit that speed. And I sat down because now I'm coasting. We're quite like that train.
Sure.
In that confusion, don't sit still. Make yourself become the turtle and then become the hare. Get moving. Why would you be a sitting duck? Isn't it harder to hit a moving target than it is to come up on you and you just sitting there? Isn't it harder to hit a moving target?
Yes, yes, yes.
So you need to become your ammunition. You got to become your own cheerleader. You got to become your own coach, your own motivation. Become the affirmation in your own life.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So in this time we are at, guys, listen, I think we kind of hit on a lot of topics today, talking about staying alive is what we're really talking about. We're talking about you've been a survivor all along. So
Yeah,
we're really talking about. We're
definitely.
talking about just starting and not being afraid. We're talking about building momentum. We're talking about, I don't know, we're talking about everything related to staying afloat. If you're afloat, if you're staying afloat, if you're struggling, you're surviving. Congratulations, you're one of us. We're all the same. You're surviving. If you take another approach and go to a higher level of step, you might find someone like Star. How does one find a life coach to help them along?
Well, Google. Actually, Google, but if you were looking for a coach, a therapist, a psychologist, I always use this terminology. You need to date that professional because you have to find the one that fits for you. It's like shoe shopping.
Mm,
You want to find the one that you can ease into with a level of comfortability that you can say any and everything to.
yes.
That's important. That is
I've heard
super
that before.
important. You need to have that relational process of, you know what, I'm going to sit back here and I'm going to vet this professional. I'm going to vet you.
What does that look like when if I'm new and I've reached out to you and I heard that you're a life coach, certified life coach, what kind of questions should I ask that person?
First of all, you need to ask, what type of coach are you? What's your specialty? And I'm a very existentialist. I don't play with you. I'm not going to hold your hand.
Some people might say, I need that. I need that
Yeah,
for my life. I need
correct.
somebody to get me all the way together to help
I'm
me
going to
so they
dig in
don't
it.
see me when I go down the BS line.
Yeah,
They can correct me.
that's right. I don't rub hands. I beat hands. I'm
Okay.
taking you back by force because that's the only way I know how to give it. I give my children a tender side. But
Okay.
for an adult, when you sit in front of me, you've already made a decision that there's something about you that you said yes to. And we're going to go into that yes until we get you there. That's the
I
bottom line.
understand. I understand. Is there an email or something that you can shout out? We can give shout out
Yes.
to people can
Yes.
reach you. Go ahead, let them know.
You guys can email me anytime at loveisagift, and that's LUVISAGIFT at gmail.com. That's love is a gift. And actually, you can find me on social media through that same handle.
Love is a gift.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that, guys. Listen, I'm gonna hit the clap button. I'm gonna have to. You know what? Years ago, I used to watch a program. I used to do a program, and it was a religious program. And the pastor would, when he got charged, he would say, "Somebody hit the clap button," and I was like, "Where's the button?" So when I started doing podcasts and things like that, I got me a button.
Right,
I had
right.
to I got the clap button. So I appreciate you, Star, for coming
Thank
on the
you.
show to
Thank
bounce
you.
back. We are excited to get to know you here at PRN. You become another resource for us when people are looking
Awesome.
for certain things. Um, Again, guys, we pride ourselves on the work we do here. We are one of the top in the top five um, peer-run agencies in this country. So we're all peers. We'll have lived experience. Some of us went to college, but our experience to being a peer certified peer support specialist is because we've had lived experience. So we there's no judgment. We love having you on. We love having you come over here to our hub at 2224. What's my address here? I lost my mind. The Plaza
You know how to
right
GPS.
here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm just so overwhelmed with happiness, and I'm happy to have you here and happy to have people. Listen, don't forget, we got the warm line, right? Call that warm line if you just need to talk to anybody. And we got the welcome desk. So if you call welcome desk, you'll get welcome, actually. And a lot of people will be there. Kim Porter's there to talk to you about multiple things and opportunities and what we have going on at our hub. We changed from one location to this location, but we have a lot of fun here at this location. It's very peaceful and loving, and there's a lot going on. So we thank you very much for attending and watching us today. Your comments, we're going to share it and get it looped around the world. Thanks a lot. See you all later at the bounce back.